Hey, it's Jamba. Um, this is not. I am not watching a movie from the production company Neon. This is another Jenner reaction. That's just what I do, man. I'm basically his number one supporter. Um, it's titled "How to Know If You're Ready for a Girlfriend." Now, I have no idea. I have relatively no idea what really to expect from this video. It's about. Oh wow, I think it's a. Not sure how long it is. Okay, how long is this video?
One of the worst things you can do as a young guy is to
Okay, it is okay, 10 minutes. Okay, wow. So this is gonna be pretty long. Um, Without further ado, let's just jump into this. I don't have any predictions. I don't know if you're ready for a girlfriend. Okay, let's get it.
worst things you can do as a young guy is to date a woman that is not really a high quality woman, especially if you do this for like years or multiple months at a time. It's just kind of a drain on your life because you're always going to be trying to pull her in the right direction and she's going to be trying to do her thing and have fun and go out and stuff. It's not really something that you can allow yourself to do. I've noticed a pattern in myself and in a lot of my friends where even if you're very disciplined in like your diet and your school and work and everything like that, sometimes when it comes to women, guys just don't have the discipline to know when to call it in a relationship or when they should look for a relationship, whether a girl is like actually girlfriend material, stuff like that. It's almost like we kind of go back to our primal instincts and we see like a really hot girl and it's just like, well, I think that she could be a good girlfriend. I think that I could make this work, like trust me. No. You do not want to spend time with those type of women. And you also need to kind of realize when it's time to grind versus when it's time to open yourself up to maybe a potential relationship.
Yeah, the reason why um guys don't know when to call it in a relationship is because it's pretty difficult for most men to get relationships with women. We got to go through a lot of dates, we got to go through a lot of bullshit, we got to go through a lot of flakes, we got to go through a lot of like, even getting yourself to the point of being valued enough for a woman to see you as worthy being in a relationship. So once we get that woman in that once we kind of get there, most men, we try to kind of work with what we got, and we tend to look for the positives. Even if a woman is exhibiting relatively antisocial negative behavior, if we start to understand, oh man, me and this woman aren't not very morally compatible, or what have you, right? More times than not, the man is gonna try to make that motherfucker work. Like, he's gonna try to make it work. And especially young men, because young men, a lot of times, they're just, they're, especially if they're getting satisfied in that area, and they're having a good time. He's gonna try to kind of, just kind of go with it. And this kind of, this does lead a lot of men into like the wrong direction. I mean, sometimes they may get her pregnant. Sometimes they might find themselves straying away from their purpose. Sometimes they might find themselves in, being too emotional in situations, and wasting their time ultimately, and all that. So, but I do think that a lot of times men are able to learn, as long as you're able to kind of learn something from a relationship, then I don't see like a big problem. But guys, we gotta bang our head against the wall a lot of times with women, right? So
And that's something that I kind of made mistakes with in the past. I dated two girls in college, and the relationships were actually only about 6 months apart. So, like, I still was somewhat kind of getting over my last relationship when I met this new girl, and we just really clicked. And after a couple months of hanging out and dating, I kind of fell in love with her. Looking back, I wasn't really in the best place to start a relationship at that point because I was in a needy place. I didn't really have anything going for me. I didn't really know where I was going, what I wanted. My mental health was all over the place. It was not really a time for me to be opening myself up to a relationship. And I think a lot of young guys are always looking for any sort of like hope of female attraction. And as soon as they get a little bit, immediately start like justifying why this girl is actually high value. And I know that, she's tatted up and she's got 8 bodies, but trust me, dude, like she's going to be a great. It's like,
8 bodies, shit. 8 bodies is that's damn near the Virgin Mary in 2024. 8 bodies, only eight. That's less than how many fingers you got. I'm not trying to be a dick, but even though I'm low key kind of joking, what I'm saying is true. The eight is not really a whole lot nowadays. You got women going to college ranking up eight before the first semester is over with. I'm not saying it's a lot of y'all, but it is a lot of y'all at the same time. lady. I'm just saying. I'm just not trying to be a dick. I'm for 8 is not really a lot now. It might have been a lot back in the 70s or 80s or the 50s or something like that, maybe. But 8 ain't a lot. It's not a lot. It is a lot, but it's not a lot.
Like, dude, like you blind yourself to what the truth is. And I think that guys need to have a purpose and a goal in life before they're ready to actually have a girlfriend in life, because a girlfriend's going to take effort, time, emotional intelligence, and working through fights and working through different things. And if you're kind of like,
Why you gotta bring up? Why you gotta have a black couple fighting? I ain't never seen no black couple. He's never really had no black people in his videos. But the black couple got to be fucking arguing. They got to be arguing. How come the black couple can't be getting along? I thought your videos were only for white people. Why you got this black couple here? Damn it.
I was, where you were just floating around in the universe. You did.
Of course, the brother can't get along with the black girl. Of course, we just fighting and arguing and hollering. Just dysfunction.
Really have a purpose. I didn't really have a purpose at that time. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. My faith was up in the air. I was just kind of all over the place. That is not when you want to go into a relationship. Now I'm actually opening myself back up and starting to get back on the dating market. I'm talking to cute girls at church. I'm asking my friends if they have anybody to set me up with. Like, seriously, that's actually kind of a slept on strategy. I have a couple good like friends that have girlfriends, and I've asked them, hey, do you have any like of your friends that are really high quality women that are looking for a—
Damn, you got the shoes up on the bed. That's white people. Is that just what y'all do? Is this a white person thing? That hasn't even happened to me back in college. Like, niggas, we just didn't. You just put the shoes on the sheets.
a boyfriend. I'm kind of opening myself back up because I've gotten to a point where I have steady work. It's not too much, but I can make good money. I have this channel. Like, I've taken that very seriously, and that kind of gives me a purpose. I feel like I'm doing something valuable with my time. I'm kind of helping steer guys in the right direction, get people involved in Christianity, get people involved in the gym, stuff that I feel like is going to have a positive impact on the world. And I'm also 24 years old. I turned 24 recently, and I've kind of realized I want to have a family. I want to have children. And it's time to open myself back up to starting to look for good women. I have kind of a purpose. I'm kind of settled in with who I am. I'm a Christian guy. I'm very socially conservative. I know what I want my family to look like. That's when you're actually ready to have a girlfriend, to start dating again. Not like I was back in college when I started dating that girl, because I was all over the place. I literally could have been swayed in so many different directions. I didn't have a vision for my future.
Yeah, I think that's important, man. You got to have a purpose. I think this is on point. And purpose. One thing I love about purpose is, that message is something that can resonate with a man, no matter what his faith is. Like, that's something that I feel like is just a universal thing. Like, no matter, look, man, because I got friends. I mean, like, I got Christian friends, but I also have friends that are Muslim. I have friends that are atheists and agnostic. I have friends who believe in Egyptian gods. So all that religion and all that and what we believe in, might be different. But when it comes to, as a man, like what these core, even, friends who aren't straight or whatever, but purpose, I think, is, what is it that you believe that you're on this earth to do? Like, what is that thing? And I've always said to men, this thing cannot be women. It cannot be my purpose is just to fuck a bunch of hoes. You know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately for a lot of guys, that is, and it's not family, but just, I'm going to have a lot of sex with a lot of different women. Now, there are men who do have a greater purpose who do that, but that's not necessarily their purpose. That's just what they like to do. You know what I mean?
I didn't have a vision for what I wanted my family to look like. I was not being what a good masculine Christian man is. And now I feel like I've finally kind of proven to myself that I have what it takes to actually embrace this life. Like, it's a very difficult life, and you kind of have to give yourself some proof of concept before you actually like trust yourself to start doing the right things and kind of trust yourself with who you are. It's easy to say like I'm this and that, but it's a whole nother thing to actually live that out.
Enter the $1 Million Whopper contest by creating your own Whopper at bk.com/MDW.
And that's why I've kind of opened myself up to dating. I know that my target audience is to an extent like some MGTOW guys, and there's going to be guys in the comments saying like it's not worth it. Like you got to just give up on women, like marriage is a scam, or like go to a different country, all this stuff. I think for most guys that are watching this video, if you're being honest with yourself, if you feel like you're at a place where you're ready for a relationship, and you kind of visit a few different Protestant conservative churches, you could even go like Orthodox, Catholic, there's a lot of good options. But if you involve yourself in that sort of community, if you go to the gym a lot, and if you try to make an effort to really surround yourself in community, you meet different guys that might introduce you to their sisters or their friends, you meet different people, you start getting your name in that community. There are some decent women out there in America. Even with the West falling, even with like euphoria and drugs, there are good women out here. It just kind of takes you to be the masculine guy that's going to take them up and say like, hey, this is where I'm going. Do you?
He's not wrong, and I'm actually gonna reach out to this guy. I would love to have a discussion with this guy. I don't know if that's gonna happen though, but I would love to do that. This man is not wrong. There's actually a lot of good, decent women out there. I think that the majority. I think that you know what. I'm not going to make this about women. I think that the majority of good people, good relationship oriented people in general, are already in relationships, both men and women. But if we're talking in this case about women, I think that the majority of these good women are in relationships. But there is a small degree of women left over who are good decent women, but this is kind of like regardless I guess of their religion, or what they believe in or whatever. I think they're just relatively few and far in between as far as like his perspective, but he also needs to understand that, and he said this, he's a very tall, in shape, relatively good looking white guy, and that's going to alter his perception as well, right? So but he has like acknowledged that, to be fair.
You want to join me? Are we going to make this work? And that's kind of what I wanted to do. Now, again, I understand that the dating dynamics are super skewed in America. I understand that it's a lot harder than it has to be. I think things like birth control and different social movements like feminism have kind of crumbled the Christian roots of monogamy that this country was kind of built on. And I understand that dating's really hard for a lot of guys. I'm a good looking dude. I'm tall. So, like, I'm privileged in that sense. And I'm not trying to sit here and, like, preach
All right, so he acknowledged it even in this video. Okay, good for him.
to you and be like, you gotta get like this. It's so easy. No, it is really hard, especially if you're like a bad looking dude, or you're just not genetically gifted. Like it's going to be an uphill battle. But I don't think giving up is
If it's going to be an uphill battle, then the passport bros or them traveling overseas would make sense in that guy's case, right? I think the advice that he's giving is for the guys who meet the exception, not the guys who meet the rule. Because guys who are in the rule, meaning the guys who are like the average guy, like most guys listening to this, are probably closer to being that ugly or unattractive, women don't really like me type of guy who needs to go to overseas or the Philippines or whatever, than a guy who actually more so can qualify and can compete in the current kind of dating landscape, right? Like a guy like him could, right?
the right answer, and that's kind of my whole channel's like mantra. It's a lot harder than it has to be for us Zoomer guys, like young dudes. We just got given like a shitty lot in life as a whole generation like since now obviously we're not like on the beaches of Normandy, like we have some things going for us, but it's tough because our dad's generation and even our granddad's generation, for most of us, they had like the American dream. They could just kind of do the things and get the results, and now it's a lot harder on us when it comes to the economy, dating, even just kind of navigating modernity. Like a lot of us were exposed to technology at a young age, and we're kind of dealing with the long-term impacts that a lot of that kind of comes with. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I've had some guys DMing me on Instagram, emailing me. You can feel free to do that if you're interested in like some questions. I might do some read-offs in the future, but they were just kind of asking me. Like I talked a lot about MGTOW, and then I talked about dating. I've talked about dates I've been on in the last couple of weeks on this channel, and a lot of guys are like giving me flack for it. Some guys are asking, when is the right time to date? Like, do you have a girlfriend? Do you want a girlfriend? So I thought this video was appropriate. You should only really be opening yourself up to a relationship when you kind of feel like you are concrete in who you are and where you want to.
Some good stuff. I agree. No lies told.
go in life. And obviously, like, I would never say pass up on a great girl. Like, if you find a Christian, conservative, really high quality woman, I don't think there's any time in life where you can justify saying, like, I got to focus on myself. I got to, maybe if you're like a drug addict or something like that, and it's just like you just have to spend some time on yourself, like, maybe. But I see a lot of guys like, yeah, I got to go monk mode and work on my online business. I can't date this like great girl. Trust me, dude. Like, there ain't many great girls left. So don't overlook that.
Most guys are not going to do that. Most guys are never. First of all, these great women just don't pop into guys' lives like, I'm available, date me. They're not doing that. They're not doing that anyway. Even the most focused, fucking zen-like monk mode dude, if a girl just popped up and was like, hi, I'm available, come take me to dinner, and just made it easy like that, or just like in a, like, I'm exaggerating, but most guys would still oblige, even like you can chew gum and walk at the same time, right? So I don't think you need to worry about that.
If you have the opportunity to date a woman that is like truly, I'm not talking about like looks, like hot, like there's plenty of hot girls, but like a truly good girl that comes from a good family, that has good values, that's a Christian, that actually has respect for what marriage is and what having a family looks like, don't overlook that, dude, because a lot of guys will be so quick to tell you, like, oh, you got to break out, you go monk mode, shave your head, go start a self-improvement channel, go start like an e-commerce business. Relationships are pretty much the fundamental core of life. They make life.
I tried e-commerce and I wasted a lot of money doing that. Don't do e-commerce unless you like love it. Don't, apparently a lot of people made great money from it. That wasn't for me. And if you don't think it's for you, then probably don't attempt it until you are really, really trying to get locked into it.
Life worth living, because life is very shitty and it's really hard and it's not fun. It's not a fucking theme park. It's fucking difficult. And when you have a good woman in your life that's going to encourage you and give you that feminine energy to kind of boost up your masculine energy to go take on life head on, that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing to find a good Christian woman. A lot of guys might tell you to go overseas. A lot of guys might tell you to.
This whole good Christian woman thing, I don't want to make this about race. I guess I gotta make it about race. This good Christian, what I'm noticing, because so just for a little bit of context, and I don't want to like go too deep into it. So right now there is currently a big debate thingy on Twitter about Christian guys versus red pill, quote unquote, like, go out there and be with a bunch of women type of guys. And then the other guys, the Christian guys, are more so about like, hey, let's, we got to get married and have children and read our Bibles and be Christians. And the other guys are like, no, because the courts are against men and you'd be stupid to get married. Like, it's like a whole thing. And one thing I've noticed about the guys who are a lot more so on the Christian side of things when it comes to getting and having a good old fashioned Christian traditional relationship is that these guys are like not even 90%, 100% of these guys are these are like all white guys with white girls. Like this whole Christian, I'm not saying obviously black Christian women exist. Obviously they do. But this whole notion about like getting with the good old fashioned Christian woman with conservative values, that's a white guy. That's a white guy thing. Black dudes we don't really get any sort of version of that. Because you even if you wanted to find yourself a good old-fashioned Christian conservative black woman, she likes white dudes too, just like the white girls do. Like that, this is a white person, this is a white guy thing. Black dudes just kind of, I don't think we really have now, let me not say that. I do know that in some parts of the country, you do have, I don't want to say Atlanta, I don't think that's the best example, but you do have in some parts of the country, like I think Houston is a great place for black people to meet each other. I think like there's some places, right? But I just don't think that there's no quote unquote conservative Christian traditional black woman movement or kind of thing. Like there's a conservative Christian traditional white woman. Like there's a whole subgenre of white women who I love to stay at home and cook and make pie and friggin' pot roast for my husband, and I love to go to church and I pray with my kids and I homeschool them. Like that's a whole thing for white women. I don't think, and maybe you can blame black men because black men don't make enough to support a wife and kids or whatever, and maybe you can blame the whole deadbeat dad kind of myth. You could blame the single mom stuff. So there could be. I'm not saying, I'm not blaming black women or blaming black men, but just acknowledging that there's a racial component to this that is not necessarily being addressed. I'm addressing it.
Give up on the game completely. I don't agree with that. Maybe overseas can be an option for some guys, but like giving up is not an option.
Well, what's it say? A wife should cook for her husband. You sexist scum. Honey, I'm home. Hola, mi amor. I didn't know you wanted tamales or mole, so I made both. Oh wow. Oh, it's funny.
That's not who we are on this channel. On this channel, we're young Christian guys that are going at the world despite the unfair circumstances that we were given. We're going to embrace the challenges, the unfair challenges that a lot of us face, and we're going to just go at life harder. Like, even though things are kind of skewed, even though things are more hard than they have to be, even though life is pretty much suffering at the end of the day, we're not going to use that as an excuse to give up. We're not going to drop out of society. We're going to get in shape. We're going to go to church. We're going to be involved in community. We're going to get jobs that don't pay us enough. We're going to do the things we have to do. That's what I'm doing. That's what I think you should do. Don't give up. Don't black pill. And yeah, like if you feel like you're at a place like me, you're a little older, you've kind of figured out who you are, and you're
A little older. He's 24. That's funny. I probably said some similar shit when I was 24, 25. I'm a little older now. Then once I'm 42, I'm going to be saying the same shit about me at 32, and so on and so forth.
ready to open yourself up to a relationship, then go for it. Like, go find yourself a girlfriend. If you feel like you're kind of a feather in the wind right now, you're figuring it out, I highly recommend you start reading some theology and getting in the gym. Those things will kind of anchor you down to something.
Theology, or you mean the Bible specifically, or are you trying to are you being religion inclusive to include like the Quran or some other religious text?
And Christianity really is the best possible religion to build your life around as a young man. It's kind of our last hope in the West to live a good life, even if it's fake, even if God's not real, even if Jesus was a complete insane person. You read the teachings of Jesus and you kind of quickly realize, one, he's not an insane person, and two, Christianity gives you the opportunity to be involved in a community that respects tradition, takes family seriously, takes marriage seriously, takes monogamy seriously, takes things like traditional gender roles seriously, takes things like having a purpose in life seriously, gives you hope for an afterlife, gives you a meaning when people die. I've had someone die in my family, and I can truly tell you that having that Christian base.
Now, is Christian my religion of choice? Yes, absolutely. So I don't disagree with anything that he's saying. He's coming towards Christianity from like a more kind of secular, like, hey, like it's good for these reasons, but ultimately, Christianity is about Jesus, and is about like him, and him being the centerpiece of your life, because that is what your actual true purpose is. Now, I also believe that you can still glorify God through your talents and gifts. So whether that's singing, whether that's carpentry, whether that's, being a teacher or what have you. I think that, you can be an athlete and glorify God through your talent on the court or on the field. So, but anyways, let me not go too deep. I'm liking what he's saying. Just I ain't got really a problem with it.
Around the family made it so much easier to work through that process and bond together as a family versus like secular nihilist families. Somebody dies, there's no answer, and you got an 8-year-old kid asking like, where's grandpa? You just don't want to build your life like that. You have to become a Christian. You just have to. And if you don't believe in it, gaslight yourself into believing it. That's my best advice, man. Do the
Well, that's something. About to wrap this thing up. like this video, man. This was a pretty good video. I'm definitely gonna reach out to Jenner. Maybe he'll. I don't know. We'll see. You know, but I'm a fan of his stuff, man. So I definitely gotta give him a shout out. Be sure to like. Had some Cheetos earlier as part of my dinner. I did have like a dinner kinda. I had a guy dinner. Let's put it that way. I had a good lunch, but I didn't have a good dinner. It's very. I gotta do better on that. But like and subscribe to his channel, like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you soon.